Hello everybody and welcome back to Combe Valley Campers. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fit the new Fiamma T6 Pro bike rack with special guest, the Fids. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors, Howden's Modified Van Insurance. That's right, A-Plan are now Howden's. They still do exactly the same in that they will insure your van from the time you buy it until you completely convert it into a camper van and beyond. And if you want an exclusive rate on your next policy, please mention Combe Valley Campers and they will sort you out. So laid out in front of us then is the new Fiamma carry bike VW T6 Pro. And straight off the bat you can tell what a quality piece of kit it is. And thank you to Fiamma for handing it to us to be able to fit to this beautiful wagon behind us. So what's different then? What's different between this and the earlier version or even the VW T5 version? Well, for a start, it's got the beautiful black finish on it. Rather than being the silver version that you would have seen late 90s carry systems or awnings, Fiamma have sort of stepped it up and now everything has an option to be in this lovely black colour. They do the awnings as well in the black cover, the F45S awning, they do it in the black, and they do the carry bike in the black as well. And I say everything's really, really nice, but in particular, this is a really nice piece of kit, even down to where you're mounting the bike. You know, if you're spending a lot of money on a VW T6.1 and you're spending a lot of money on the accessories, you want to be able to have a nice piece that's pretty much going to be living permanently on your vehicle. So the actual tracks where the wheel mounts are mounted to, they're a really nice, almost like a crackle finish powder coat or anodizing, and even down to the beautiful detail on these tyre mounts, wheel mounts here. It's almost like a carbon fiber finish. And we'll go through some of the other features in a minute, but yeah, I mean, I like things laid out like this anyway, but to be able to see everything in its component form, you can check out all the details. It's a really, really nice piece of kit. So the other main differences as well between the T5 and T6 is actually the shape of the tailgate that you're going to be putting it onto. A T5 from this point towards the lip of the door, it's actually a nice curved shape. And on the T6 and T6.1, it's got this nice angled design up here. And these top arm brackets reflect that. If you can see that mount in there, it fits around the metalwork of the van. And the other difference between a T5 and T6 is round the rear tail lights. On a T5, they will be curved, so it's like a nice continual curve all the way around. On a T6, T6.1, it's got that angled design round the tail light. And then these are the brackets, rather than being curved, like I say on the T5, they've got these nice straight edges and they will clamp round at a bit about this point. We didn't want to just fit this to anybody's van. We've brought in a special guest who owns the van behind me, and I think let's have a quick chat with him now and see what the bike rack is going to be used for. So as I said, we've got a special guest today. This is Fids, or Hello. The Fids, you may know him as. Thank you very much for coming down.
Pleasure.
Now the reason we've got you is because not only your history with vans, but obviously you ride as well. How long have you been riding or skating for, and what's the story behind that?
Don't know. I'm 53 now, and I started when I was 11, and then I just can't stop. Yeah. So I just ride and skate as much as I can when I can.
And you've ridden all around the world?
Been everywhere, yeah, pretty much. It's been good.
And you've actually done the death ramp as well?
I've done, the mega ramp.
The mega ramp, yeah. So
done
those of you know anything about riding or BMXing or even Nitro Circus, the mega ramp's like the pinnacle, isn't it, I think? Yeah,
I did one mega ramp, Nitro Circus.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. So we thought, who better than to ask to fit this for, because like we say, you've got the history with vans as well, and you've built your own vans?
I've always had a van, because they've just been so functional for me. Like throw a mattress in there, like go away at the weekend, go to the trails, throw a mattress in, sleep in it, whatever. Yeah. And then also, like, I'm a carpenter by trade, so I need all my tools in there as well. And then and then at the minute I've got so many tools in there, and the bike's always in there, and it's always in the way, so
this is going to be perfect?
Be handy, yeah, so perfect. Super. To have that on the back.
And you've had a bike rack before, or have you always just suffered?
No, I've always just jammed them in, really. Yeah. So, yeah.
This will be helpful.
Yeah, amazingly.
Super.
Amazingly.
Right, so I think what we'll do then, we'll have a quick look through the old destruction manual.
Yep.
We'll have a look and then start putting this thing back together, weighing it up on the tailgate.
Yep.
And see if we can put this in together. It doesn't look like we need many tools, which is rad. So we've got effectively 10mm nuts, I think, on there. And then we'll need maybe a 10mm socket and a 10mm spanner. There might be some Allen keys when we're actually mounting it to it, but I mean, bearing in mind you carry tools everywhere. If you ever wanted to remove this in the future, I'm sure it's not going to be too much of a problem.
In the van, yeah.
Super. So I think what we'll do, like we said, we'll have a look at the instructions. We'll put this all back together, and we'll take you guys through it at the same time.
This is a tape measure, a screwdriver, a spanner and Allen key, a screw gun, some scissors, and a cloth.
So instruction 1 looks like we've got this longest piece out of all the kit, quite distinguishable, making sure these 2 parts are pointing down, and then we've got to put the feet on the end. So looking at it, I reckon that bad boy is going that way.
I like it, all the nuts are hidden behind, don't they, once it's on. Wow.
So, how close are we to putting it on the van? Seems pretty close already.
No, one more bar.
Top bar with some clampy things. Those.
These, yeah.
So the top bar keeps that stable across the top. Okay. Oh, and I guess it's on those feet, so you can adjust them to whatever you want.
Whatever angle, yeah.
Should you just do it like a 90 to this bar?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a satisfying click. You ready? Yeah. Points to note when you're fitting, I'm going to call them like a universal hinge. If you have a quick look in there, one's a smaller diameter and one's a wider diameter. Smaller diameter for this small tube. Beautiful fit. Bigger diameter for that one as well. I'm kind of in.
I'm in.
That's basically it. That's, in terms of assembly, that seems pretty much it. And I think the last thing to do is to fit the tray on, but now we've got the assembly together. So if that loosens up there, you've got some grip.
I put that on a bit tight.
So if that's loosened up there, you can actually go ahead and adjust that into any position. With the main frame being assembled, the next thing on the instructions is to actually fit it to the wagon. You've got to clean the surface, much like we did on those other 2 sticky pads, to make sure it's clean from dirt, and that's organic dirt and things like grease. So maybe go over it with a wet wipe or just like a soapy cleaner first to get the organic dirt off, and then go for like a solvent-based cleaner to get the grease off as well. Before we go ahead and stick these down, these are basically see-through paint protectors. Basically, they're stickers to go over your paint where these pads in all the corners fit, and they enable you to stop damaging your paint, basically. But what we're going to do before we get the final destination for those stickers, we're going to dry fit this onto the van. Then we'll maybe use masking tape to mask off where the feet fit, take the whole rack off. Then we know exactly where we're going to fit our sticky pads. Once they're fitted, we can then go ahead and put the rack back on and finish the build. Let's have a look. It's tight, isn't it, all the way around? So it looks like it'll fit in these bits here. So if you hold it down to about there, just about there. And then we'll loosely put it on.
Super light.
It is super light. All the way forward. That's it.
I can't see, too tall.
Right. Yeah, that's on there. So is that kind of central? Is that going to look like it's going to go over
Yeah,
that?
it looks perfect.
How are you looking there?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm good there as well. Right, let's have a stand back. See if that looks square. Yours, it could just go towards you like that. That's it there. I'm glad we did a dry fit straight away, and you should do the same. It's easier with 2 people. That's a certainty as well. And what you're looking for is making sure the profile of the roof fits within that top bracket really, really nicely. Now, it's not perfect, but there's enough space in it, so when you get actually weight on it and you're traveling, that's actually supported by all of that metal work, which is great. You're looking for an even gap here versus an even gap there as well. And then if you cut the steps back, you'll be able to see that this line is straight against the bodywork. And then this part you can adjust, as you saw earlier with those sort of thumb screws. We'll be able to move that bar up or down as we see fit to ensure that that third brake light doesn't get interrupted or blocked. So I'm happy with the dry fit now. Fids is happy with the dry fit. He's quite happy. What we'll do, like I said before, we'll mask off the areas we need. That then means we can stick down our sticky pads, our paint protectors, and then we can go ahead and fit this for the final time and complete the installation. All the stickers are on now then. Doing the dry fit first and the masking tape is actually really helpful, and I'd recommend you do that because you really need to get it right before you then button it down for good. And obviously the sticky paint protectors are there for a reason, because these will shift and move over time. It's not an area that you can clean very easily. So over time, if those pads were to get dirt underneath them, they just almost turn into a rubbing paper, sanding paper, or a paste, and it will then just wear through the paint, scratch it, damage it, and then that could lead to rust. So good idea getting those sticky things on there. I think let's go ahead and fit this on.
Splendid.
Super. Right, so if we open her up a touch,
I'll hold it
about
a little
there.
bit.
Just going to slide her over a bit. Cool. Right, so we'll drop her down, and then I will get back up on the ladder, do the final measurements. So I'm happy with the top mounts on the tailgate. I wanted to make sure that they are even, so I found 2 points of reference, one on the rack, one on the body, so I know that they're equidistant both sides. Now when it comes to these lower ones, there's a couple of things I want to take into account. One is that these bars here are wide enough apart that I can actually still get adjustment in this. So when I tighten it up, and I'll tighten the whole rack up first, when I tighten the rack up, these will be at a certain distance. So when it comes to adjusting them in the future, I don't have to like pry the bars apart to actually get any movement out of this. So that's one point we've highlighted. So the tops are even, happy with those. They've measured out equal. Now when it comes to these bottom brackets, there's only one place that they can fit. However, I'm going to tighten them up bit by bit, each side, and then keep walking back to check the look of the rack and the dimensions and everything else. And then once I'm happy with the position, I'll button them down all the way. So just going to tighten them up very gently here, go over the other side, make sure it's the same. Cheers, Fids. And on the feet as well, there's only little pads. and we realised why there's only little pads is because it's quite close to that transporter script. So the pad actually misses the T of the transporter just, which is good. But we knew that because we used the tape and we measured it before. So right now, I am super happy with that. I'm just going to tighten this one down just a touch more. That's it. The last thing we'll do, we'll put the plastic covers back on, and then we'll fit the last bit, which is actually the tray for the bikes to sit on. So one of the questions Fids raised actually was, can it get stolen? And it's been designed really, really cleverly to the point where, unless you're going to spend half hour cutting things, breaking things apart, leaving things behind, no, you cannot. Yes, there's 2 accessible bolts down here, but you can't physically remove the bike rack without opening the tailgate. Everything's blocked, everything's tucked around the edge of the door. So as far as keeping something safe and secure, they've done a very, very good job in engineering this so it's safe. Your investment is safe on the back of your vehicle. However, if you want to put your bike on here, I'd suggest you always lock your bike to the rack. So the final part then is the actual tray to mount the bikes on. Again, super nice engineered piece of kit. Can't wait to actually try Fids' bike on there, because one of the features of this is the fact that the actual mounts for your wheels, although they're stiff, which is part of the design, they're actually sort of universally movable. So if you are carrying a mountain bike, a folding bike, a shopper, a BMX, whatever, these will suit your bike. So the 2 plastic clips, I've got one, Fids has got the other. They are just sort of retaining clips that pop onto the large bar, and then when you're in no bike mode, I guess, that just mounts up like that. So I think what we can do now, bearing in mind Fids has brought a bike with him, we can test it on there, and that's when we can put the actual arms that clamp onto, say, the crossbar across the top. That means we can adjust this one at the back as well and get the perfect fit for Fids' bike. So as you can see, this rack has 2 of the trays on there at the minute. Very clearly states, don't try and squeeze 3 on there. You can buy another part for this, so it will come out to hold 4 bikes, which is pretty extreme. I mean, I've seen these carriers before with a tow bar mounted rack. You know, I've been traveling over Europe. I've seen a family of bikes, one on a tow bar mounted rack and one on this. But in this case, we've got 2. I think what we'll do now, we'll get Fids' bike and the 2 accessories. So if it can mount 2, there's 2 bars on here. One for the bike closest to the rack that will mount here, and one for the bike furthest away from the rack, which will mount this side. So wherever you want to place the bike, maybe at the nearest one for the time being, and then let's adapt it to suit. And there we have it. We have fitted the VW T6 Pro bike rack by Fiamma with special guest the Fids. Thank you very much for helping.
No worries, thank you. Thanks.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon of the piece of kit?
I think it's awesome. Like I love that it's all black, and when there's no bike on there and it's folded up, it actually makes the van look good. Makes it like it's just like stylish, and then it's going to be so much help for me when I travel a lot. And I work away a lot. My van's full of tools and materials, but I always want to have my bike for me for downtime. And
buddies as well.
And a friend, yeah. If there's a friend, I can pick someone up, just chuck it on the back.
Super. And
the van can be full of tools and whatnot. And like, yeah, it's going to make my life so much easier.
Well, thank you very much for coming down.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. Thank you once again to Fiamma as well for helping us out with this video. Really rate this as a piece of kit. And if you want to buy your own, please take a look at the link down in the description. That will lead you to the coomvalleycampers.co.uk website where you can make a purchase. And if you did enjoy the video, if you did enjoy having a special guest, please leave a comment down below as well. That really helps us with a bit of feedback. And if you like the video, please make sure to subscribe and to hit the notifications, which means you'll get notifications when future videos go up. But to end this video, we can't leave without saying, F you.